Welcome to the City of Florissant podcast, where we talk anything and everything related to the beautiful City of Florissant.
Hi, I'm Mayor Tim Lowery, and welcome to another edition of the Mayor's Podcast Show. With me today is Mike Weiss, Lamont Gordon, and Patrick Mulcahy, who's the city's economic developer. They're here to talk about a really exciting event that's coming up in Old Town at the beginning of August. And Mike, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself and your organization?
I own a local retail store in cycling, or we have a three-location business, but we're about 30 years old. When we first got into the business, we realized that, there is not a golf course for cycling, and there's not baseball fields for cycling. There's roads, and there's a lot of different types of ways you can play a sport. And so most of what we deal with is people that just want to ride bikes and have fun, family stuff. But there's always a tier for any activity where there's kind of the sharp end of the spear, if you will, and that's competition. And so we felt that there's no agency in the state of Missouri or the United States that creates local competitive events, and so that's the space we've sort of slotted ourselves.
I got you. So Pat, you've been working on this event quite a bit for the last couple of months, and I know we're all excited about it. It's going to be August the 5th, but why don't you kind of tell us about the event and kind of go through the details?
Sure. So it kind of came about. Mike reached out to me. I think he had some people who suggested Florissant as a great option for a race like this, and we actually I've talked to residents who said that we used to have a bike race here in the 1960s and 1970s through Old Town. So it kind of brings back a past event that we had here in Florissant, just in a new way. But yeah, once Mike reached out, directly talked to you, and we looked at some of the other races around town, I think in Edwardsville and down at the Hill, and it just seemed like a really neat opportunity and something that we wanted to jump on as a city. And I think, we went door to door along the route, handing out flyers to the residents and business owners, telling them about the race, and everything we got back was just excitement, and several people said this is the reason they moved to Florissant was for exciting events like this. So.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be exciting. It's August the 5th. What time does it start? And I know the meeting point is going to be at the VFW Post 4105 on St. Francis Street.
Yes, so it'll start with a community race at 8 a.m. So we're hoping that anyone in the community who wants to come out and ride the route would do so, and kids are certainly invited to ride the route, and I know we have some cycling clubs in Florissant too that are probably going to join the community ride.
So Lamont, I know that's one of your groups that are probably going to participate in that community ride. We want to talk about your group a little bit and what you guys do. I know you meet every Tuesday at St. Ferdinand. Can I talk about your group a little bit and talk about your excitement, and certainly hopefully your group will get involved in that morning race?
Yeah, so the Regulators Cycling Group, we've been around. We started off back in 2013 as a couple of guys just out cycling. And then we officially became the Regulators in 2015, and just kind of wanted to be really a part of the community. So our goals is really to educate the community in cycling, just bring the community together and be a partner. And this right here is aligns with our goals of being part of these community rides. So we're excited when Mike reached out to our president, Gerald, and asked to be a part of the 8 a.m. piece of the event. So we're excited, and it just, again, it aligns with what our goals in the community. As you mentioned, we have a community ride every Tuesday at 6 p.m., and we welcome all. If you got a body, you got a bike, we tell you to come on out. So we're excited about this event. I know we'll have, you'll see a bunch of these jerseys throughout the event, and we may, I think I'm going to kind of persuade a couple of the guys to get in the racing piece of it. So we got a couple of guys that's kind of cat 3, 4, 5 racing, so they may come out and be a part of it. So.
Well, we certainly appreciate that you guys being part of the community and seeing that it's so important to have the biking in the community. And the other thing on your Tuesday rides, you were kind of telling me earlier that you have different levels. I mean, so if you're kind of a beginner at this, I mean, you can get into the lower group and then go all the way up to the top group. I think you said there's 4 different divisions that you guys operate from.
That's correct. We have 4 divisions, A, B, C, D in group, so they ride at different pace, and that's what the letter represents, a different pace. We typically, if you're a new rider, you don't get a lot of street at the beginning. We kind of take you more trail. If you come out and you're not familiar with your bike, we try to teach you how to operate the bike, some of the little techniques of cycling. We've gone to the extent of going to bike stores with you to purchase the bike that we think you would be comfortable on and that you can grow with. And we just, any questions, any concerns that you may have for cycling, we walk you through the whole process. So whether you're 10 years or 10 days, we welcome you out there with the regulators to cycle with us. So
That's great. So, Mike, let's talk about the event on August the 5th, because we are certainly excited to have this. I mean, when you first called, I mean, there was a lot of excitement right off the bat that we wanted to make this happen in Old Town Florissant. We think it's a great venue. You thought it was a great venue. You've actually toured the city, and you came up with this route. Tell us about the event. What does this event mean to not just the city of Florissant, but the cycling world here in St. Louis?
So the type of event has a name that makes everybody kind of like glaze over. It's called a criterium, which is a French word, just means bike race. Like Tour de France is going on right now, so people pay attention to the one race per year, and that's a point-to-point race over many days. So it's a road race. We're not doing 80 miles of Florissant. We're doing about a 1 mile course, and they race that same lap for time. It's a very American-style race, kind of like NASCAR to Formula One. So it's a pack start. It's fast. Every lap has meaning. You have to stay at the pace of the fastest riders. So it's actually a tactical race. I think the cool thing about the community ride is you can ride it. It's a turny course. You can go through the turns. You can climb the hill and be like, okay, that hill kind of hurt. Those turns are kind of scary. And then you see the guys who know what they're doing do the same thing. So what it shows the community is what the sport can be about. This is the state championship for Missouri. So in theory, we're going to attract people from Springfield and Kansas City and southern Missouri, and maybe from Edwardsville and near Illinois, and get a nice group. It's kind of a fight card. It's like boxing, lightweights in the beginning, bantamweights, and then you work up to the heavyweights. And so we have almost like a belt system like karate. So it goes Cat 5 is entry level, Cat 1 is pro level, and we'll have a race for every level. The sport of cycling is kind of tough right now because it definitely weighs heavily towards men. About 80% of the people that race are men, but we're trying to get youth involved, trying to get women involved, trying to encourage older athletes to continue to race and compete. So we'll have a race for probably, I think, 7 or 8 races over the course of the day.
So it's going to be a very busy day then.
Yeah, every race is an hour. The elite race is going to go longer than an hour, but
Okay.
All the other races are going to be 45 minutes. It's like wrestling. You can only go all out for so many minutes.
Okay.
So you can't go, red line.
The one thing I noticed about that course is you're hitting that hill right off the bat on St. Francis Street. I mean, you're not giving them a break when they start. You're going right up that hill on St. Francis up to North Jefferson.
Yeah, well, there's already been some people that have come and ridden the course in the cycling community. They haven't signed up yet, but there's a couple of the bigger riders where gravity might affect them a little more than a smaller rider. And they've come and they said, couldn't you make it flat? I'm like, the Earth's round, man.
That's right, exactly.
And then I had a couple people express concern about where we were going to put the finish line. They're like, it needs to be farther up the hill towards that first turn, because otherwise it's going to be a race to the last turn, which is downhill. And they're like, we want to allow people to get through the last turn, survive it, and then, go for it.
Gotcha. So, Pat, let's talk about the community a little bit. I know that you mentioned earlier that you've knocked on every door, and that would be affected by this and are impacted by this race, and everybody's so excited about it. But what are we looking for the community? We want the community to come out and really enjoy this race, and I know that there's already some gathering points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely we know it's going to be it's going to interfere with some of the businesses along the route, but we also so we want people to come out and support those businesses, and we think those businesses will have a pretty good day, like Made by Leah on the patio there. I could see a lot of people hanging out, having their coffee and dessert. It goes, right by her patio there. Hendel's is working on putting a block party together. I know Hankey's is working on putting a party together. A few other restaurants along the route are talking about selling food. So I think the goal for the city is to work with all these businesses along the route, get them involved and make sure that people, when they come out to support the race, they also support these businesses.
So, Mike, I personally have never been to a bike race. I know a lot of our residents haven't been. What should they expect that day if they want to come out and watch?
Well, if you live on the course, what I would tell you is you have a box seat. You should invite people to your box seat experience. A, you have a bathroom. B, you've got a great yard. So there's your front row seat. The cool thing about a criterium or a bike race like this on a short course is walk the course, find a spot, move around. You can see it multiple times. Those kind of fan zones and the restaurants, those are great places to hang out and watch because they're at good points on the course. So bring a chair, bring a cooler or shop local, and enjoy being outside in your neighborhood.
Lamont, what's your thoughts? I mean, have you seen a race like this before?
I have. I've been a part of. I went over to Forest Park to see some races through Forest Park, and it's amazing to see that group come flying by you at the speeds, and it's a little intense. You see how close they ride to each other and how fast they take off coming out of corners and things like that. So, like Mike said, you'll have an amazing time seeing it up close, and get some great experience on what cycling and the crit race is all about.
Very good. It sounds like it's going to be a great afternoon, great morning, great afternoon, a great day in Florissant, and certainly appreciate you bringing us to the city. One thing is, though, how do I register? If I want to get involved in this, how do we register?
All right, so we have a website for our company. It's called bigshark.com. We have a community calendar, we have a race calendar, and we have an event calendar, and you can find the link. You can just punch in Tour de Florissant into Google, and you'll find it. It's on USA Cycling's website, so there's a lot of paths to get there. The direct link, I'm sure there's a link off your city page. So, it's not Tour de Florissant - Missouri State Criterium is a lot to type in, so I would, find the hot link. And then the community ride is free. We added that as a registration selection on the race reg. So go to if you just want to ride the course, we ask that you sign up. We'll have a waiver for you that day, and we ask that you wear a helmet, but it's free. If you want to try a race for the first time, you have to buy a $10 license to get a one-day permit.
So one thing I have heard, Mike, is that I've heard some issues or concerns about safety. Can you kind of address some of those issues?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we bike racing is a risky sport at this level. Most of the injuries somebody might have is going to be skin. You fall and you get some road rash. It can be worse. I mean, one of the things we try to do is this is what they call a hard closure, meaning that we're going to close the roads curb to curb. We'll use barricade to close the roads to traffic. Areas that we think are dangerous, mostly on the descents, we're going to pad with wrestling mats, and we're going to put banners over them. So we'll try to make it so it's a softer surface or a blunt surface if people fall. I believe we'll have EMS and support from Florissant Fire Department here on site, providing some first aid or triage if we need it. In the event that something bad does happen, we will stop the race and take care of that athlete. So there can always be a restart. We can always go 5 or 10 minutes later, whatever it takes. But generally, these people are very skilled. But unfortunately, things do happen in these types of events.
So very good, gentlemen. I really appreciate you guys putting this event on here in Florissant, the Tour de Florissant. I mean, this is so exciting. And once again, on August the 5th, please come out if you're not going to be able to. If you're not a bike rider, come out and watch the event. But it really is going to be a great day in Florissant. Thank you. Appreciate you guys being here today.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So this concludes another episode of the Mayor's Podcast Show. We are Florissant Strong. Thank you.